It's nice to be back with you on the Vox News. We kick off with a sad story from the Ghanaian capital, Accra. More people than initially thought remain trapped beneath a collapsed four-story department store in a suburb of Ghana's capital, Accra, that killed at least 4 people on Wednesday. The authorities had initially estimated that around 55 people were inside when it collapsed due to a suspected structural failure, but that figure was based on the number of employees working there at the time and did not factor in the number of shoppers too. By Thursday morning, emergency personnel had pulled out 61 survivors and recovered 4 dead bodies from the building, which housed a mall operated by Indian retailer Melcom Limited. A team of Israeli experts was due to arrive in Ghana on Thursday to assist a search for remaining survivors, as rescue workers said they feared their condition was quickly deteriorating. And some of those rescued showed signs of injury and all were examined at a nearby hospital. Here is government spokesperson Samuel Oduro with more details.
The building was then just went down. Clearly we can see from the debris that construction was poorly done. And so I'm sure that there are definitely going to be investigations after this, but the priority now is to get the lives out. But then after that, the contractor who put up the site would have questions to answer.
So that was how they got to me. So immediately they hit it. There was a small when I used my head to pass through that so that they could rescue me and this and my mouth.
Okay. And so there were others behind you?
Yes, one, the pillar was in the middle of it, so that's why she couldn't come out.
A victim talking to Ghana's President Mahama there. A woman heading to a concert by U.S. rock band Linkin Park in Cape Town was crushed to death on Wednesday when a strong gust of wind blew over a promotional billboard. The South African Press Association on Thursday said 19 others were injured when the temporary scaffolding outside Cape Town's Greenpoint Stadium collapsed shortly before the evening concert. 12 of the injured required hospital treatment. City emergency services, including doctors, paramedics, and disaster risk management staff, assisted immediately. Linkin Park said they had only learnt about the death after the concert, which went ahead as planned despite the rough weather. Still talking about disasters around the world, rescue workers retrieved body after body from the rubble in the devastated Guatemalan town of San Pedro Zacatepecos after Wednesday's powerful earthquake in the Central American country. Firefighters and emergency crews pulled bodies from collapsed buildings as shocked residents struggled to grasp the magnitude of the quake's force that left at least 48 dead, amongst them children. It was the strongest earthquake to hit Guatemala since a 7.5 magnitude quake in 1976 that claimed more than 20,000 lives, leaving many dead across the mountainous region of San Marcos. Thousands of soldiers, police, and emergency officials have been deployed to quake-ravaged areas to scour through the rubble for survivors and help local authorities distribute emergency rations. The UN Security Council on Wednesday extended an African Union AU peacekeeping force in Somalia for 4 months as it mulls lifting an arms embargo, and Uganda threatens to pull out troops over claims it is aiding rebels in Democratic Republic of Congo, DRC. The African Union has appealed to the 15-member council to review its arms embargo to help Somalia rebuild its army and consolidate military gains against Al-Qaeda-linked Al-Shabaab. UN diplomats said the council was split over this request. The council extended the AMISOM peacekeeping mission for 4 months instead of the usual 12 to allow for a review of operations, including consideration of the arms embargo request and a call to permit the export of stocks of charcoal. Prosecutors in France are investigating a Frenchman suspected of entering Mali illegally to set up a jihadist cell in the country, where Paris believes there is a risk of militants planning an attack on French soil. The prosecutor's office in Paris said on Wednesday the French national arrested in Mali had identified himself as Ibrahim Ouattara from the town of Aubervilliers, northeast of Paris. French radio station RFI said he had been trying to get to the desert city of Timbuktu, which is in rebel hands. French President François Hollande is pushing hard for military action by an African force against Islamist militants who have taken control of the north of the country. Libya should not grant amnesty for war crimes committed during last year's uprising against former Libyan leader Muammar Gaddafi, regardless of who committed them. In her first official presentation to the UN Security Council as the Hague-based International Criminal Court top prosecutor, Fatou Bensouda on Wednesday said that the ICC's pre-trial chamber will decide in due course on whether the late Libyan leader's son, Saif al-Islam Gaddafi, should be tried in Libya or The Hague. Bensouda recalled the Libyan authorities' stated commitment to ensuring that there would be no impunity for crimes committed during the fight to overthrow Gaddafi. She pointed to a recently approved Libyan law that raises the possibility of amnesty for acts made necessary by the 17th February revolution, apparently creating the possibility of not prosecuting crimes committed by anti-Gaddafi fighters. The convicted Californian scam artist behind a crude anti-Islam film that stoked protests against the United States across the Muslim world was sent back to jail for a year on Wednesday over probation violations stemming from his role in the video. In a tightly guarded federal courtroom in Los Angeles, Mark Basile Youssef admitted to using aliases and lying to his probation officer, breaching the terms of his supervised release from prison this year after serving time for bank fraud. Youssef, an Egyptian-born Coptic Christian and former gasoline station owner, has been in protective custody since his arrest in September. Defense attorney Steve Siding said his client is eager to put the case behind him.
He's made his admissions to the government today and to the court. He's going to abide by his agreement with the government and with the court and proceed further and hopefully be reunited with his family as soon as he's completed his incarceration. You can draw your own conclusions regarding the outcome of this matter. My opinion is the government used these proceedings to chill my client's First Amendment rights. It clearly was that all along, but I don't know.
World food prices fell slightly in October, largely because of failing cereals and oil prices, and the United Nations Food Agency said on Thursday, but prices remain close to levels seen during the 2008 food crisis. The FAO Food Price Index, which measures monthly price changes for a basket of cereals, oilseeds, dairy, meat and sugar, averaged 213 points in October, down 2 points from the reading in September. The UN Food and Agriculture Organization, FAO, said in its monthly update. FAO earlier trimmed its forecast for global cereal production in the 2012-2013 crop season, estimating a 2.7% drop from the previous year to 2.284 billion tons. China's outgoing president, Hu Jintao, warned that corruption threatened the ruling Communist Party and the state, promising political reform as it formally opened a party congress that will usher in a once-in-a-decade leadership change on Thursday. More than 2,300 hand-picked delegates gathered at Beijing's Cavernous Great Hall of the People for the start of the week-long session, held against a backdrop of growing social unrest, public anger at graft, and a yawning gap between the rich and the poor. But nobody expects a move towards full democracy, and party spokesman Kai Mingzhao made clear on Wednesday that one-party rule was inviolate. U.S. President Barack Obama arrived back in Washington, D.C. on Wednesday evening after voters gave him a second term. Obama is expected to have little time to savor his victory as he faces urgent economic challenges, a looming fiscal showdown, and a still divided Congress able to block his every move. The nationwide popular vote in Tuesday's election was extremely close, with Obama taking about 50% to 48% for Romney after a campaign in which the candidates and their party allies spent a combined $2 billion. Well, that's how far we can go on the Vox News. Thanks for staying with us. I'll be back with you shortly for more updates. Remember, we are online, voxafrica.co.uk, also Facebook and Twitter. I'll see you shortly.